school, whenever you get a test, right, there's three main parts to it. There's the name, which is right at the top, the questions, and then the answers. You're supposed to give the answers. You get the name, and you get the questions. It's basically universal, pretty much every test we've ever taken, right? You have to give the name, questions, and the answers. Now, the problem with this is that all we've really been practicing doing is absorbing answers and then spitting them back out on command, right? So I'm wondering, perhaps the most important part of a test is not actually the answers, perhaps equally important to be the questions. You know, how much practice do we have asking questions, which seems kind of silly. Why would we need to ask questions? But if you think about it, in a world where we know so little, if we can't ask any questions, how are we going to get anywhere in it? As far as knowledge and understanding of the world, if we can't ask any questions, we're not going to make any advances. We're not going to broaden our perspectives, or in any field, it's universal as well. So over the summer, I was talking to my uncle, and he is a teacher. He teaches AP psychology, but he's a bit different than your general AP psych teacher. He does not have a master's. He has a PhD. No master's, just a bachelor's and a PhD. And what he said to me was that the entire American education system, specifically in the sciences, is backwards. We shouldn't be teaching the highest levels how to ask questions and the lowest levels how to give answers. It should be the other way around. The lowest levels should be learning to be curious or maintaining their curiosity, and the highest levels should be the ones who are able to determine those answers, which I thought was pretty profound and really quite accurate. So my idea was, how do we retrain ourselves? Because as little kids, you know, we really ask questions. We go around, what's this, what's that, why? You know, like those are the things that we ask as young children. But over time, we stop doing that. We get less curious, and we start to give answers. That's about the time that we really start our schooling. So what I decided to do is to make a new test. Different than the ones you get in school, different than your standardized tests. And that test only really has two components. There's the name and the questions. So basically what you would do, you start off with a piece of paper and you just write your name. And that's your test. And every day you find one little thing. It can be little, it can be big, and just something you're curious about. And you just jot down a question about it. It's all it is. It only takes a second. But it can be anything big from, you know, why is the expansion of the universe accelerating? Or why does light move like both a wave and a particle? Why does it behave like both? Or it can be anything simple like, you know, how many people search something on Google each day, or, you know, how many, you know, desks are there in the school. You don't even need to look for an answer. You just need to be able to practice asking the question. Because the world is really a vast expanse of the unknown. You know, it's so used to just like, you know, SAT practice, which bubble is the right one. But for most of the world, there is no right answer because there is no question to go with it. You know, we're not curious enough to be able to broaden our perspective, so we're always going to be limited to the, you know, bubble in correctly, and that's not going to get us anywhere. So if we want to move forward as a species, we want to advance ourselves, and this is for any field, not just science. It could be in history, it could be English, it could be basket weaving. You know, how are we ever going to become master basket weavers if we aren't able to seek new techniques or methods? So with this test, you're at least going to be able to expand your curiosity, your imagination, and that's really what is going to create a generation of not just intelligent, but, you know, bright people with wide ranges of capabilities and innovative properties. And that's really what we need in an age where, you know, advancement across the board in any subject is moving so rapidly. We need, as a species, to be able to think creatively, and we need to be able to innovate, and the only way we're going to be able to do that is by rejuvenating our curiosity, and we need to practice, just like you need to practice absorbing and regurgitating answers for your SATs, your ACTs, or your exams. You need to be able to do the same thing, but produce the exams. Now, I'm not talking about like writing an SAT prompt. I'm talking about just like new ideas or new concepts, something that hasn't been done before. The only way we're going to be able to do that is if we ask questions, because if it hasn't been done before,